Hello everyone, welcome to the fresh videocast episode of Cozy Conversations. I know. And today I'm here with Mr. Ayush Shrestha. So he's been, I think you guys must have seen him in some or the other comedy videos of Nepal, I know, because he's a very popular in the area of comedy here in Nepal, I know. And I'll leave his introduction to himself. So Ayush Dai, how would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, that's the most difficult part of any conversation. Like, how do I introduce myself? I don't know. Most of the things you've said it already. I'm a comedian. I work in IT. I do weird, stupid things, and I don't know why I do it, but it's fun. So I keep doing it. I'm not really popular because most of the people don't know me. I'm around. Let's put it at that. I'm around.
So today one weird and funny conversation that we are going to have is about how relationships look different and are perceived differently by males and females. And I would like to be very exclusive about this, but this episode is mostly dedicated to heterosexual relationships. And in heterosexual relationships, males and females come together. And one of the most common complaints that I've heard from my female friends is that, oh, I just can't understand males. And then one of the common complaints that I've heard from males is, oh, ma त केटीहरुलाई बुझ्नै सक्दिन भनेर. So just to understand where do males come from and where do females come from in case of romantic relationships, I'm having this cozy conversation. And this was a highly recommended video because a lot of people were like, oh, गर्नु पर्यो यस्तो के हुन्छ नि मेल र फिमेल एकअर्काले बुझ्नै सकिरहेको हुँदैन अनि अहिले जुन तरिकाले ब्रेकअप्सहरू डिभोर्सेसहरू भइरहेको छ, I think conversations like this also become very important, so that we can empathize with हुन्छ नि हाम्रो अर्को जेन्डर चाहिँ कताबाट आइरहेको हुन्छ अनि उनीहरूको कन्डिसनिङले चाहिँ कसरी अफेक्ट गरिरहेको हुन्छ भनेर. अनि one disclaimer is that none of us are relationship experts here and neither have we studied psychology, so anything that comes here in the conversation today is purely based on personal experiences and observations. So this is not a conversation between experts.
Nice disclaimer. Don't take anything that we see seriously and then implement it and divorce family. These are our personal experiences, okay? तिमीहरुले गर्दा मेरो ब्रेकअप भयो. Me too man. ब्रेकअप नि मैले गर्दा भएको.
ल, so because breakup को कुरा आइ नै सकेछ हैन, so first question breakup बाटै start गरौँ हैन. How do you think males and females react differently to breakups? So you can talk about the male experience, म female experience को बारेमा कुरा गर्छु हैन. But how do you think males react to breakups? My assumption is that what happens with males is that the day they break up, they just go out to party with their friends, chill and everything, and then I don't know, suddenly it might hit them ki, oh, she's gone. That is my assumption of how it looks like.
It's kind of true, but we're not that terrible a person that, okay, on the day of the breakup, I'm going to party, I'm going to hit the clubs, flirt with women and all that. We're not that terrible people, okay? But it's kind of true because, yes, there is some form of relief at the beginning. I see that the journey is exact opposite, you know? Guys will start at at a high and then eventually find their low, and the girls will find their start with the low and eventually find their high, right? That's kind of how I see things. And so what you need to understand about men in general is that we are kind of here's how I say it, every man is kind of walking this tightrope, and then the tightrope ma tyo हातमा यत्रो लामो डन्डी लिएर ब्यालेन्स गरेर हुन्छ नि. सो we're walking this tightrope हैन. अनि यो एन्डमा चाहिँ we have massive overconfidence हैन. अनि यो एन्डमा चाहिँ हाम्रो no self respect. Those त्यो दुईटाको ब्यालेन्समा चाहिँ a man is made. So every time in a relationship they're oh, I'm getting overconfidence हाबी हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ oh, I'm missing out on so much women हुन्छ. अनि त्यसै एकैछिन पछि चाहिँ oh हैन यो पनि गयो भने त म त खाली हुन्छु होइन सो वी वर वाकिङ दिस टाइट डेडलाइन लाइक वी एउटा पोइन्टमा वी आर भेरी कन्फिडेन्ट द्याट आई विल गेट वुमेन अनि अर्को पोइन्टमा चाहिँ नो आई कान्ट गेट वुमेन अनि सो लाइक वी स्पेसली वेन लाइक मेन ट्राई टु ब्रेकअप इट्स वेन देयर ओभर कन्फिडेन्स इज हाभी होइन अनि ब्रेकअप भइसकेपछि चाहिँ औकात याद आउँछ नि ओ शिट आई मेड अ मिस्टेक मैले सोचे जस्तो केटीहरूको लाइन होइन रहेछ हुँदैन रहेछ आमा लाइक मेरो थोपडा पनि राम्रो छैन रहेछ लाइक या बिकज दे वेन वी ब्रेकअप वी आर त्यो ओभर कन्फिडेन्स हावी भएर हुन्छ अनि पछि औकात याद आउँछ अनि लाइक फर वुमेन आई थिङ्क they look for more stability, they look for more, you know, that's why what I love about women want peace. They don't want they want stable life, they want a peaceful life, right? And they look for stability and त्यो पाएर हुँदैन अनि त्यसपछि like they have all the options in the world. I don't even understand why women stay with men anyways, but like that's how I see it.
ओके सो मेरो एक्सपिरियन्समा चाहिँ तपाईँले भन्नुभएको जस्तै वुमेनहरू स्टार्टिङमा चाहिँ दे आर भेरी हार्ट ब्रोकन कि लाइक ब्रेकअप भएको दिनमा त दुनियाँ नै सकेको जस्तो लाइक वी फिल भेरी स्याड इन द इनिसियल फेजेस अफ इट अनि त्यसपछि हाम्रो त्यो ब्याड मोमेन्ट्सहरू घट्दै जान्छ एन्ड आई थिङ्क वान थिङ फर वुमेन द्याट इज भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट विच रियली हेल्प्स देम in their process of breakup is their female tribe के सो एउटा चाहिँ हामी वुमेनहरू जेनरली पनि एकदम इमोसनली एक्सप्रेसिभ हुन्छ होइन अनि सेकेन्ड भनेको चाहिँ नि हामीसँग त्यो सोसाइटीमा एउटा स्पेस हुन्छ कि गएर आफ्नो इमोसन्सहरूको बारेमा कुरा गर्न so that also helps us
that's very good point because like female tribe is so good, like they're so supportive, they like help each other out. Male tribe is destructive as fuck. Like if you look at it, like an individual man is like a nice guy. An individual guy is a nice guy, right? It's just when they get together in a group, like they become men. Like that is one key difference. Like female tribe, it's very supportive. They help each other out. Male tribe is more on the destructive nahi bhandina. They're just juvenile, they're just childish, like they just try to break things. That's just the way we are.
They'll just pull each other's legs. Like let's say if a guy is breaking up, instead of being like, oh it's okay, they'll be like
there's no such thing as emotional support in a group of guys. It's just like, how do we escape this feeling? Okay, here's some alcohol. So that's how we deal with things. And yeah, that is one big problem with like to disconnect. I'm not saying one is better than the other. Like of course I'm like joking earlier, but I'm not saying one is better than the other because I think you need a balance of both those things. You need emotional support and you need to like you need to every once in a while you need to say like fuck this. Like okay, nah. Then you just need to break things, but you need a balance of those two things. And like that's why I think people who have a like good balance of male, female, and generally a diverse group of friends, close friends, they handle these things a lot better.
Also I think that given that you talked about like हुन्छ नि males or like त्यो emotional support भन्दा पनि like हुन्छ नि let's just laugh it off, let's just like drink and then forget about it वाला जुन त्यो हुन्छ do you like how do you think त्यो lack of emotional expression affects relationship because males हरूमा
definitely एकदम धेरै नि like that is the root of like 90% of the problem. Like it's because like we like for the most part men are not trained to handle their emotions. They're kind of conditioned to hide away, like just not show it, and then you know like just work it out, and women are more conditioned to express it, and like and I do believe that it's more like conditioning than biological. It's not biological at all. We are trained like that बच्चैदेखि नै अनि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि पनि like it's त्यो एक्सप्रेसन मात्रै पनि डिफ्रेन्ट छ अनि एक्सपेक्टेसन्स पनि डिफ्रेन्ट छ and it's not matching त्यति धेरै त्यसले गर्दाखेरि it's the root of all the problems. Just like, for example, with women, what happens is they look for emotional support so much that they stop looking for solutions entirely, right? So like for us, and it's me, Bunny, we're very much solutions oriented, and that's because we are we are conditioned to show that you have to solve problems. That's your job. You have to solve problems. And women are trained that you take care of things. So like त्यो तरिकाले नै brain develop भइरहेको हुन्छ. अनि so like I think in a relationship what's important is, I think relationship मा नि हैन, like in general नै सबभन्दा important कुरा चाहिँ empathy हो. And empathy as in like you need to understand what like how that person's childhood was, and like what was that person told to do, trained to do, and then while providing that, and then bring this another perspective, another dimension as well. And so the dimension add garna सक्यो relationship मा within each partner. If you can add another dimension to your partner and your partner can do the same to you, that is a long lasting relationship. So like it's not fitting perfectly, it's helping each other grow in the other direction. त्यो भयो भने चाहिँ a relationship lasts. नत्र चाहिँ like a lot of people, the mistake that I see a lot of people make is like म यस्तै हो, like this is the way I am, this is the way I was brought up, but that becomes an scapegoat, and they use that as a they say that and they stop growing as a person, and they use that as an excuse. And त्यो गरिराख्यो भने चाहिँ it'll be a very toxic relationship. But if you let that ego aside and said, and okay, like I was brought up this way, yes, but I understand that I need to grow in this side. Like as a man, I should be able to say that, okay, I need to be able to handle my emotions better. And if women say that, okay, I need to be able to take things more logically and objectively better. And so yesto kuraharuma, if you just let your ego aside and say, okay, यो मेरो growth को part हो है भनेर गर्यो भने चाहिँ the relationship really stays stable. अनि तर त्यो ego छ भने चाहिँ that's where things go bad, I think.
आई थिङ्क जुन तपाईँले भन्नुभयो नि यो इमोसनल एक्सप्रेसनको कुरा, आई थिङ्क मेल्स र फिमेल्समा हुने एउटा मेजर प्रब्लम चाहिँ के भइदिन्छ भन्दा होइन, लाइक वी हेभ ग्रोन अप लुकिङ एट एकदम यो शाहरुख खानको मुभिजहरू अनि बलिउड मुभिजहरू नि त, अनि अब रियल लाइफमा मेन आर रेयरली लाइक शाहरुख खान होइन, दे आर नट एज एक्सप्रेसिभ, दे आर नट एज रोमान्टिक, एन्ड दे नट गो टु एनी लेन्थ टु एक्सप्रेस द्याट लभ, बिकज मेन जेनरली आर नट भेरी एक्सप्रेसिभ इन माई एक्सपिरियन्सेस होइन. सो त्यो रोमान्टिक एक्सप्रेसनमा चाहिँ कस्तो भइरहेको हुन्छ भन्दा वुमेनहरूलाई चाहिँ त्यो बलिउड मुभिजहरूको इन्फ्लुएन्सले गर्दा पनि होला होइन, एउटा के एक्सपेक्टेसन भइरहेको हुन्छ भन्दा इफ द गाई लभ्स मी ही लाइक रोमान्टिकली एक्सप्रेस भन्ने हुन्छ. तर मेल्सहरूको केसबाट चाहिँ त्यो आउँछ होइन त्यो एक्सप्रेसन, तर इट कम्स लाइक वान्स इन अ ब्लू मुन के होइन. सो वाट ह्यापन्स इज द्याट वी स्टार्ट फिलिङ कि ओ मेबी दिस गाई इज नट इन्ट्रेस्टेड इन मी नै हुन्छ नि, यो केटाले मलाई माया गर्दैन होला, एक्सप्रेसै गर्दैन होला भनेर हुन्छ नि, एन्ड देन वी स्टप फिलिङ भ्याल्युड. अनि त्यहाँ पछि चाहिँ नि आई थिङ्क त्यो हुन्छ नि कता कता ओके आइ एम नट भ्याल्युड इन दिस रिलेसनसिप भनेर फिमेललाई हुन थाल्ने बित्तिकै लाइक ओके दिस गाई इज टेकिङ मी फर ग्रान्टेड हुन थाल्ने. मलाई चाहिँ त्यो कता कता मेन स्ट्रिम यो जुन मिडियाको इन्फ्लुएन्स छ यो पनि एकदमै धेरै लाग्छ, बिकज वी एक्सपेक्ट आवर मेन टु बी मोर एक्सप्रेसिभ. तर स्पेसली यो साउथ एसियन कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ हुन्छ नि I've hardly noticed men being that expressive in relationships कि like त्यो अलिकति हुन्छ नि जसरी उनीहरू अलिक फ्रेन्डलाई जसरी अब लाइटली लिएर हुन्छ नि त्यसरी नै एउटा पोइन्ट पछि चाहिँ उनीहरूले गएर आई डोन्ट नो आफ्नो फिमेल पार्टनर्सहरूलाई पनि हुन्छ नि छ त भनेर लिन थाल्छ जस्तो मलाई चाहिँ लाग्छ होइन. अनि वाट आर योर थट्स अन दिस?
Yes, definitely, but I'll go on a bit of defensive side यहाँ चाहिँ हैन अनि like I understand your perspective है फेरि बलिउडले अलिकति बिगार्दिएको छ so the thing about men is के अरे कसरी भन्ने भन्दाखेरि yes we for us like जुन भन्यो नि like यहाँ छ त हैन we are here and nothing is like out of the ordinary हैन for us that is romantic हैन like not having to perform हैन that comfortability in not performing your love हैन that is kind of romantic to us that is what we're looking for that for us is a stable comfortable life and that I can be happy with that is our kind of perception of what a relationship should look like and on your I know what your perspective is and like it kind of looks like you're being ignored but like हाम्रो तर्फबाट चाहिँ what it is like you're such an integral part of me now that I don't feel the need to perform like you don't look at your fingers and say oh kasto ramro fingers because they're always there right they're always a part of you love your fingers but you don't feel like appreciating your fingers all the time right so for us it's like having someone there so much that you're just it's just there and that is a great definition for romance to us like अनि त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ अलिकति मिस्टेक छ मतलब मिस्टेक छ भन्दा नि अब
ग्याप छ लाइक बिकज वुमेनहरूलाई चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भन्दा रोमान्स भन्ने बित्तिकै ओ दिस गाई हेज टु ब्रिङ अ बुके अफ फ्लावर्स फर मी और दिस गाई हेज टु प्लान स्पेशल डिनर डेट्स फर मी और दिस गाई हेज टु डु समथिङ स्पेशल फर मी
on your defense and on your defense what women want as romantically this performance part of it that's not high maintenance wala kaamharu paina it's not they don't want huge gestures and they don't want like it's small things I've noticed that it's not like one compliment a day will work it's not that big of a deal just get habit बनाउने just compliment your girlfriend every once once a day compliment your girlfriend that's not difficult it's okay right
once a month plan a dinner date
yeah and
is it that difficult
it's not difficult just do it right and what how men think is like they'll do a huge gesture like every 3 months and they think that 3 महिनाको लागि त ढुक्क भयो म that doesn't work that way but त्यो बजेटलाई distribute 3 months and like buy them a small flower every day that works okay
true so yeah I think that is very true like when say
think about complimenting your girlfriend or buying them something as brushing your teeth like do it every day right after you wake up your whole day will be set just text good morning beautiful that's all it takes dude त्यही गर्दैन त्यति पनि गर्दैन भने मात्रै हो हैन but like I told you what our perspective is like our perspective is like she is such an important part of my life that she's just there and I'm okay with it like it's just having fingers and I don't appreciate my fingers every day but it's nice to appreciate your fingers every day
okay so हजुरले जुन भन्नुभयो नि होइन लाइक वुमेनहरू लाइक your girlfriends do become an integral part of your life then why do males always value their male friendships more than girlfriends
that's not true
that is something that I've noticed के मेरो जति पनि रिलेसनशिप्सहरुमा भएको हुन्छ नि if the guy had to choose between me and his friends he'd always choose his friends
that
like
is not true
भेट्ने बेला पनि फ्रेन्ड्स को कल आउने बित्तिकै जानु परिहाल्ने हैन फ्रेन्ड्सले भन्ने बित्तिकै भेट्नु परिहाल्ने and it just makes me feel ki like why are your friends so important to you and why am I not on the same page like why am I not more important to you than your friends so why do girlfriends feel like they are always competing with उनीहरुको पार्टनरको फ्रेन्ड्सहरु why is
that is not true that's simply not true okay like म त्यहाँतिर चाहिँ म डिफेन्स गरेर भन्छु like a guy's friends are not more important than their girlfriends it's just that with everything, like a guy needs these things, like दिनभरिमा त्यो सबै कुराको के भन्छ त्यसलाई, I can't even explain it to you, तर it's just something that we need to do to like I said, we don't handle emotions well ni ta हैन, we don't express it, and with our friends we have this different traditions of expressing our emotions, and like it's just like goera, like we beat each other up, you know, like we then एक अर्कालाई यति गाली गरिरहेको हुन्छ, and all that part is our way of handling our emotions, हैन, अनि that we can't do with our girlfriends, right? We can't be like we can't do it. Some people do, but like not everything we can do with our friends, we can do with our girlfriends. तर त्यो चाहिँ एउटा necessity हो, because we don't express our emotions well, and that is one way that we figured out how to let our emotions out, हैन, अनि त्यो गरेन भने चाहिँ things start getting messed up. We don't even realize it, but there's so much emotions that we've not let out, by not meeting our friends. It's part of our process. Like if a good relationship is where the two people help each other grow in the other direction. If that happens, you'll see that you will be part of the friends group, and the friends will be part of your world, and everything will be in the same place, and that happens because that person has not really grown into emotional expression, and they have to sort of segregate. यहाँ चाहिँ म यो इमोसनहरू एक्सप्रेस गर्छु, यहाँ चाहिँ म यो इमोसनहरू एक्सप्रेस गर्छु, त्यो दुइटै गर्नु नै पर्छ क्या. इफ दे डोन्ट डु द्याट they'll get crazy.
सो भनिसकेपछि यसरी बुझ्न सक्यो, लाइक मेल्सहरूको लागि उनीहरूको फ्रेन्डसिप चाहिँ एज अ कोपिङ मेकानिजम नै जस्तो हुन्छ.
एकदमै कोपिङ मेकानिजम हो, त्यो गर्नु नै पर्छ क्या. लाइक it's not like we feel the necessity to do it, and we don't understand it, and I didn't understand it when I used to do it as well, and it's just in the hindsight I understand, oh that's what I was doing, but yeah, that's what's happening. We're just like again, it's the society is patriarchal. There's like men are put into so much pressure, of stability गर्नु पर्यो, पैसा कमाउनु पर्यो, सपोर्ट गर्नु पर्यो, and all that needs to come out somehow, हैन, अनि we are also discouraged to show that to their female partners, किनकि you can't seem weak, हैन, अनि like with their friends it's a safe space where they can feel weak and vulnerable without feeling weak and vulnerable, because everybody's like insulting each other, and like, so like it's okay, it's okay to be weak and vulnerable, because this is the way, and that's one way of just finding your stable ground, okay? And that's why like men need that. So yeah, that's what it is. We have our own way of supporting each other without explicitly saying that we're supporting each other.
So means early to like it's a coping mechanism, like for them to meet their friends. So okay, over next time date I'll just keep in their mind that okay, I'm not in a competition with his friends, but if he doesn't go to his friends, then it will be difficult for him to handle his emotions, right? अनि now हामीले because patriarchy को बारेमा कुरा गरि नै सक्यो हैन, I'll just like pose this one question हुन्छ नि, how do you think यो women empowerment अनि यो feminism वाला movement जुन अहिले चलिरहेको छ हैन, I think यसले पनि धेरै नै डिफरेन्स ल्याएको छ के रोमान्टिक रिलेसनशिप्सहरुमा हैन. सो मेरो चाहिँ आफ्नो एउटा टेक छ यसको बारेमा जुन म पछि भन्छु, तर आई वुड वान्ट टु नो योर टेक अन इट, लाइक हाउ डु यु थिङ्क इज फेमिनिजम लाइक हुन्छ नि चेन्जिङ द रिलेसनशिप बिट्विन अ मेल एन्ड अ फिमेल?
Yeah, it's definitely making things a lot better. Like we have a lot more balanced relationships now than ever before. I know. So what feminism, the wave of feminism has done to a lot of women is that now a lot of women like believe not believe that they know now that we are not supposed to be provided and our job is not to take care. त्यहाँनिर हुँदैन, like these are the things that both can do equally, हैन? अनि that lifts pressure from both people in the relationship, हैन? अनि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ like the relationships are a lot more balanced, a lot more both people get to grow, हैन? अनि it's like they're not put in a box. Yeah, that is it's the greatest thing to have happened to both men and women, I know, because again, it just lifts pressure from both people. So yeah, I'm like that's it. Like if you want, you if you are dating someone and your relationship ma matre nabhare, like generally नै भइरा हुन्छ नि त. So like you said next time I date I'll do, like next time you date you want to find the right person, find out if he has like women friends or not, right? Because just with the exposure to growth भइरा हुन्छ क्या. And if he has a good amount of female friends, then it's a pretty good sign that that person is like he has a lot more emotional growth than other people. And so yeah, in the relationship we have much more balanced, much more room for growth, no restrictions, and yeah, like that's a great thing that's happening.
मलाई पनि like I do believe that feminism has lifted off that pressure, because now we are talking about how males हरूलाई पनि space दिनुपर्छ उनीहरूको emotionsहरूको लागि, अनि we are now making space for males हरूलाई emotions हुने, अनि women are now better able to take care of themselves and not entirely depend on a man, which also frees him from a lot of pressure. तर मलाई एउटा कुरा चाहिँ कस्तो फिल हुन्छ भन्दा like feminism त एकदम rapidly grow भइरहेछ नि त. like जुन लग्जरिजहरू मसँग छ होइन, जुन फ्रिडम मसँग छ, त्यो मेरो मामुको लागि एउटा ड्रिम मात्रै थियो कि. like she could only dream of things that I am like being allowed to do भनौँ न, or I'm able to do भनौँ न. अनि त्यो लेभलमा लाइक हुन्छ नि मेल्सहरू चाहिँ अलिक प्रिपेयर्ड छैन कि जस्तो फिल हुन्छ कि. लाइक उनीहरूले आफ्नो मामुहरूलाई एकदम डिफ्रेन्ट वेमा देखेको हुन्छ, अनि फेरि आफ्नो गर्लफ्रेन्ड्सहरूलाई एकदम डिफ्रेन्ट वेमा हेर्न थाल्छ होइन. लाइक गर्लफ्रेन्ड्सहरू एकदम डिफ्रेन्ट स्कुल अफ थटबाट आइरहेको हुन्छ, अनि मामुहरू एकदम डिफ्रेन्ट स्कुल अफ थटबाट आइरहेको हुन्छ. अनि द्याट सम हाउ क्रिएट्स लाइक हुन्छ नि लाइक हाउ डु आई डिल विथ इट खालको पनि. अनि अल्सो लाइक आई डोन्ट नो, लाइक अब दिस इज जस्ट माई पर्सनल अब्जर्भेसन होइन, तर अब what ends up happening is that there's also a lot of this hatred के like male like criticism हुने चान्सेसहरू पनि, like calling men out for their wrong and then criticizing the entire male को पुरा gender लाई नै is two very different things नि त. अनि I sometimes see the second thing also happening a lot के जसले गर्दा पनि रिलेसनसिप्सहरू चाहिँ अफेक्ट भएको मैले चाहिँ देख्न पाउँछु कि. लाइक अफकोर्स लाइक हुन्छ नि यु माइट हेभ चुजन द रङ पर्सन होइन, लाइक त्यो आफ्नो निड्सहरू मिट नगर्ने पर्सन भेटायो होला होइन. तर कस्तो भइरहेको हुन्छ भन्दा लाइक sometimes it just goes on to criticizing the whole male fraternity नै के, which also affects the relationships. जस्तो मलाई चाहिँ त्यो लागेको छ.
त्यो चाहिँ डेफिनेटली भइरहेको छ. अनि त्यही हो. So like yeah, that is a difficult problem to get by, because from the women's perspective it's so understandable that they're angry. I know that like it's like whatever's happening is ridiculous, it's unfair, and like of course they're angry, right? But I do believe that like the best weapon for feminism to be like the norm is empathy, like I know. And you can't expect like as understandable the anger is, it will only hamper the movement, I think, because like as soon as you're calling out a whole gender, then like the first intuition is to be defensive. If someone's attacking, then the first intuition is to be defensive, and like पछि केही सोचेर अनि त्यसपछि they might come out differently. They might say okay, there is some validity to it, yes, and everything that you can't expect everybody to respond with that level of self-awareness. The default भनेको defense हो, हैन? And if you're attacking, someone will defend, and no matter what it is, no matter how right it is to attack, हैन? So त्यसले गर्दाखेरि like empathy will be the most important के भन्छ most important weapon नि नभएर tool, हैन? But then again I also understand why it's so frustrating, and it's the frustration भइरहेको बेलामा so I have to be empathetic भन्न नि गाह्रो छ, हैन? अनि yeah, so it is a difficult problem to get by, but I think like the solution to all this is more exposure to the other gender, more communication, more discussions, right? You
More
have to
conversations.
you have to understand where the other person is coming from, what their childhood was like, what they saw, and you have to break those narratives, those false narratives that were being told, and so like on like especially on the men's side, they've यो हो वर्ल्ड भनेर के अरे बुझाएर आइरहेको छ, एन्ड दे आर ट्राइङ टु यही नै हो भनेर बसिरहेको हुन्छ। त्यहाँदेखि कुनै पनि बेला कस्तो हो नि, लाइक वेन एभर योर बिलिफ ब्रेक्स, द्याट इज अ डिफिकल्ट थिङ टु गो थ्रु, होइन? लाइक वाट एभर योर बिलिफ इज राइट बिलिफ, रङ बिलिफ, बट ब्रेकिङ अफ बिलिफ इज अ डिफिकल्ट थिङ टु डु एन्ड difficult thing to experience, and the first intuition is to no भनेर defensive. That is the first intuition नि त. So if you are trying to break a belief, then you have to do it in like as के भन्छ softly as possible, हैन? अनि अब like again यो अब kind of like it kind of feels like I'm mansplaining feminism. But like this is how I see it, and I know it's a complicated process, and like there is a lot of merits to radicalism, there is a lot of demerits to radicalism, but like मेरो perspective aside, जे भइरहेछ, like on the whole it's going towards positive direction, and now it's just a matter of optimizing it. So like मेरो perspective मा चाहिँ like we have to be more empathetic, like from women should be more empathetic to men, and men should be more empathetic to women. त्यो त हुँदै नै छ, हैन? अनि also like the responsibility is on men more, definitely, हैन? Like men who understand this thing a little more than other men, it's our responsibility to educate them as well, हैन? अनि yeah, it's a group project. It is a group project, सबैजनाले काम गर्नुपर्ने भइरहेछ,
and feminism needs more men to like it requires male involvement,
definitely. Like नत्र त it's just a matter of us versus them वाला situation मात्र भइदिन्छ, which is very destructive.
सो अब चाहिँ म तीनटा मिथ्सहरू चाहिँ हुन्छ नि, तीनटा मिथ्सहरूको बारेमा चाहिँ कुरा गर्न चाहन्छु, होइन, रिलेसनसिप्सहरूमा. सो लेट्स गो टु द मिथ बस्टिङ पार्ट नाउ. So एकदम commonly held narratives about male and female relationships is that, होइन, men look for love to get sex, अनि women use like हुन्छ नि, अनि womenहरू चाहिँ लभमा भइसकेपछि they want to like go into sexual interactions, तर men just like हुन्छ नि fall in love to have sex भनेर there's this very common narrative. So what do you think? Like there's this एकदम commonly held belief कि like मेनहरूले चाहिँ लभलाई एकदम युज गरिरहेको हुन्छ जस्ट टु गेट हुन्छ नि उनीहरूको सेक्सुअल निड्स देयर, अनि वुमेनहरू चाहिँ लाइक हुन्छ नि लाइक दे डु इट
false
when they are in
it's like it's false and true on the like it's true because of social conditioning, right? It's true because of social conditioning. Men are all like sex, like that's how they grow up within groups of friends funny, and it's like त्यो तरिकाले चाहिँ it's kind of true, but if you look at their like true natural behavior, I think men want relationship and love even more than women, and like women want sex more than what people believe. त्यो त हो नि होइन. सो लाइक त्यहाँनिर लाइक ट्रु नेचुरल बिहेभियरमा आई डोन्ट थिङ्क देयर्स अ लट अफ डिफरेन्स. तर कन्डिसनिङले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ सोसियल कन्डिसनिङले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो डिफरेन्स इट अपियर्स टु बी द्याट त्यो एउटा डिफरेन्स छ जस्तो लाग्छ. बट इफ यु लुक एट देयर नेचुरल बिहेभियर एन्ड इन इन्डिभिजुअल है ग्रुपमा हो कि यो सबै प्रब्लम आउने नै.
बिकज दे निड टु बिलोङ धेरै हुन्छ नि त. अनि
ग्रुपमा बस्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो डिफरेन्सेस एक्जाजरेट हुन्छ. बट इफ यु टेक एन इन्डिभिजुअल म्यान अर वुमन होइन एन्ड देन observe their natural behavior, then they both want relationship and love equally and they want sex equally.
I agree.
I totally believe it.
I agree to this because त्यो मेनहरुमा एउटा sort of pure pressure पनि हालेको हुन्छ कि त्यो like if they do happen to say like oh मलाई त गर्न मन छैन.
No, like have you ever seen a heartbroken man? He is miserable. How can you say that a man does not want relationship? Like just any heartbroken man, he's more miserable than any heartbroken woman. Okay? The whole world is devastated. So how can you say that men don't want relationships?
Because also females are the female tribe or भइरहेको हुन्छ नि त. मिजरेबल भएको बेला हार्टब्रोकन भएको बेला सपोर्ट गर्नलाई. तर अब मेल्सहरू त मोस्टली त्यो नभएको कारणले पनि they become very devastated. Another myth which I forgot a while back was about like do men want to feel needed in relationships? Like do men have this thing where they feel like they have to protect their women? Like do they want to feel useful to their partners? Or how does this work?
True. Like that is I don't know. It's like I don't know if it's like social conditioning or a bit more biological नै हैन. तर हुन चाहिँ हो लाइक द प्रोटेक्टिभनेस त्यो चाहिँ त्यो एकदमै भित्रदेखि नै आउँछ मलाई पनि. एन्ड टु मोस्ट अफ द मेन आई नो आई वुडन्ट कल इट लाइक बिङ निडेड. लाइक इट्स काइन्ड अफ समवेयर इन द vicinity. The protectiveness is there always, but it's not something that cannot be managed. Right, so it's something that you can learn to manage and like okay, like your feelings are, but I don't have to act on it by being because त्यो हुन चाहिँ हुन्छ. But it's not that difficult to like make yourself understand that that's not your like only job in this relationship. Like to make yourself understand as a man. Like this is a relationship, this is equal partnership. Like I protect her in a lot of ways, she protects me in a lot of ways, and then we're just here to grow together. भनेर आफूलाई बुझाउन त्यति गाह्रो चाहिँ होइन हैन. तर if त्यो खालको इन्भाइरोमेन्ट बनेको छैन भने चाहिँ द नेचुरल इन्स्टिङ्क्ट चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ छ. Like that is kind of true.
Like males do feel the need to protect or at least provide for their females. And I think that is also why a lot of relationships struggle these days. Okay? Because as like feminism is growing, and as women are becoming more aware of their power, I think women are learning to become independent. Okay? Like I find it extremely difficult to ask for help. And if it's from a man, then I wouldn't even think about it. Like, vulnerable feel.
No. What we need to understand the difference between independence and like. So if the base of your relationship is dependence, then that's never going to work. So a relationship is two independent people getting together and helping each other grow. Right. So if you look at relationship from the lens of growth rather than dependence, like you have a healthy perspective to relationships. So like a good relationship is two independent people getting together and then helping each other grow to become even better. But if any of the two is dependent on the other, then like the codependence is a very bad thing. And so त्यो लेन्स चाहिँ चेन्ज गर्नुपर्नेछ क्या. सो प्रोटेक्टिभनेस र डिपेन्डेन्स छुट्टा छुट्टै कुरा फेरि अगेन होइन लाइक प्रोटेक्टिङको लाइक इन्स्टिङ चाहिँ आउँछ होइन बट इट्स नट डिफिकल्ट टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड मेक युर सेल्फ अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द्याट नो दिस इज नट माई जब होइन आई डु इट
if the need comes to do so.
If there's something that I can do, I'll do it, whatever it is, you know. But that is not my job. You know, that is not why I'm here. भनेर आफूलाई बुझाउन चाहिँ गाह्रो चाहिँ खाएको.
So men need to do the work here.
Men need to do the work here, definitely.
अनि okay, अब third myth चाहिँ हुन्छ नि. So this is a very commonly held belief, I know, that if a guy is in love with a woman हुन्छ नि, he'd do everything to pursue her, I know. अनि usually relationships are not sustainable if a woman pursues a man. This is a very like commonly held belief, I know, because I've been very like, okay, I've pursued men in my life, okay? And then people be like, किन पर्स्यु गर्नु पर्यो? इफ त्यो केटाले तँलाई मन पराउँछ भने त्यही केटा तेरो पछाडि दौडी आउँछ त दौडी नै पर्दैन भन्ने खालको त्यो एउटा बिलिफ मैले मेरो साथीहरूबाट चाहिँ सुनिरहेको हुन्छु होइन. सो व्हाट डु यु थिङ्क, लाइक डु मेन लाइक वुमेन हु पर्स्यु देम और डु मेन वान्ट टु पर्स्यु वुमेन?
I would go for women pursuing men, definitely. That is a much healthier relationship without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, like, I would say the myth is false. I think most men will appreciate women pursuing them a lot. But yeah, so I mean, it does not really matter who pursues who. Does not matter.
Because this is a very commonly held belief कि men like to chase and men like हुन्छ नि त्यो chase गर्ने.
We don't like to chase. We have to chase. Who likes to chase? We have to do this. Like if someone comes and some girl comes and like, hey, you wanna go for dinner? Like, of course, let's go. I'll buy you dinner. I'll buy you gifts for it. You buy me dinner. I buy you gifts. Okay. No, it does not matter who pursues who. The narrative is that guy chases and girls play hard to get and do all that. But I've seen relationships foster either way. The only thing that does not make a relationship last long is codependence. People not being independent enough, people not growing growing individually and growing together. The growth जबसम्म हुँदैन तबसम्म चाहिँ relationship stale हुने चाहिँ त्यही भएर मात्रै. How it started, I don't think it matters. मैले चाहिँ देखाएको छु.
Okay, so ल मलाई तीनवटा मिथ भनेको थियो तर मलाई एउटा फोर्थ मिथ आइहाल्यो, सो म भनिहाल्छु है. Males only want to go after women who look extremely beautiful. Like, men are visual creatures, so they want to pursue like extremely attractive women. Is this true?
Like, physical attraction does play some role, but like it's not extremely भन्नु पर्दैन हैन. Like, I think for most men, I think there's a I don't know how to say it, but it's an important factor while choosing a partner, but it's not that important that it can't be ignored. So for example, yes, like physical attraction is an important part in the checklist, but if we meet a person who checks all those things but this one thing is not according to our preference, then we can look past it. So yeah, it's not a त्यो एकदमै त्यो के भन्छ गेट, the initial gate चाहिँ होइन physical attractiveness. And so like that I think is false. जुन तरिकाले पोर्ट्रे गरिन्छ हैन, अब त्यहाँ चाहिँ like important चाहिँ छ, but we can look past it. So like it's kind of somewhere in the middle.
Okay. Thank you so much for busting these myths. I know. अब now one say audience बाट आएको question हो होइन यो चाहिँ audience ले चाहिँ के सोध्नु भयो भन्दा हुन्छ नि where do you find this balance भनेर के so she was a female होइन अनि she her name is Jyoti Pokhrel होइन अनि she asked this question कि like womenहरू चाहिँ tolerate गर्छ अनि relationship जब dead end मा गइसक्छ हुन्छ नि अनि त्यति बेला चाहिँ त्यो bottle up भएर त्यो एकदमै डिफिकल्ट भइसकेपछि चाहिँ नि दे लिभ भनेर हुन्छ होइन अफकोर्स यु निड टु लाइक टलरेट होइन अब एउटा सर्टेन लेभलमा यु अल्सो हेभ टु एडजस्ट यु अल्सो हेभ टु लाइक कम्प्रोमाइज बिकज त्यो विदाउट रिलेसनसिप सस्टेनेबल हुँदैन तर वेयर डु यु फाइन्ड द्याट हेल्दी ब्यालेन्स बिट्विन जस्ट लाइक एडजस्टिङ एन्ड टलरेटिङ एन्ड रियलाइजिङ द्याट ओके दिस इज द डेड एन्ड भनेर त्यो चाहिँ कसरी थाहा पाउने भन्ने क्वेसन आएको थियो हाउ डु यु फाइन्ड द्याट ब्यालेन्स
Take the first thing that we have to stop glorifying tolerance and compromise. I know. It's necessary, but it is a necessary evil. I know. We have to stop glorifying it as tolerance is some kind of virtue. It's not. I know. So the virtue in a relationship is communicating, letting the other person know that this is what's bothering me, and then trying to work things out. Like sometimes it'll work out, sometimes it'll not work out, but like if you tell the other person okay this is bothering me and then they try to work it out but it doesn't and then you decide okay I'll compromise now, that is a much healthier approach rather than okay I'll tolerate this, I'll tolerate this, I'll tolerate that, I'll tolerate that, I'll tolerate that, and of course it'll be overwhelming at one point and at some point it'll be the last straw. I know. So like stop treating tolerance as a virtue. It's not. It's a necessary evil. And if there's too much of that necessary evil, it will break things. And so don't treat it as virtue, tolerance like and compromise like. I know. So it's all about. So it's a lot easier to live with a person knowing that they at least tried.
Yeah.
I know. So you have to communicate. You have to find, like you have to give it a shot at least, and then it goes both ways. And if you are telling me something, change it, and I tell you that like, I'll try it. And try I said okay I tried it but I don't think I can do this right now, maybe we can try it later. So that's how communication works. And this is all matter of making each other grow. Like I know you have these restrictions, these limitations, these issues, these traumas, but let's work together to get past it. And as a person, as an individual, you should be open enough to give that space. Maybe you're not ready right now, but maybe 2 years later you'll be ready to take on that challenge as well. So communicate that you're having issues with a certain behavior and try to work on it. And if some person is not ready to work on a thing at all, like this is me, anybody who says oh this I'm like this is me, that's a toxic person. Because as a person you have to, like, you're not a perfect person. You have to you have to grow. You have to understand that you have weaknesses, you have evils, and you need to work through it. त्यो कुरा बुझ्दैन भने चाहिँ anybody who says no this is me, I'm like this, I can't change myself, of course you can change. Everybody changes.
Yeah, I also find like this is something that even I recently realized, that I find accountability extremely sexy. Okay? So if a person, like if a guy can come and tell me that okay I have these flaws in me but I'm willing to work through them. So for me I think the most important thing in this guy is the willingness to at least try.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like म त यस्तै हो म त यस्तै छु भनेर. When you communicate and the other person is at least willing to give it a shot, and they can take accountability for their mistakes and they can take accountability for who they are, I think that's the sexiest thing.
And again, like yes, again the whole the bedrock of everything is empathy. I mean, like you could happen, like even in my case, like I learned this the hard way. Right, like because I was younger, I was I was immature, and I was a person at one point when I said, okay, this is me, I can't change myself, like you have to deal with it. And, like I did those things, but then again, like with age, with more experience, I kind of understood that, okay, that's not how things go. They are a person, like all on themselves. Like if I'm feeling something, they'll feel the same thing too. And so like it's a matter of experience. And if the first steps should be making them understand in an empathetic way, in the language that they can understand. But yeah, like it's you can't, like I say, like, don't judge a person because they can't do something, right? Like just understand that they have some growing up to do, and then like if you are willing to go through that growing process, then you stick together. If you said like, no, I'm not for me, then you can leave. And so it has to be, you have to take relationships in a healthy way like that, because we're all growing up.
Yeah,
we don't know anything, and then, like there's a million things that I don't know right now. Like me in a relationship 5 years ago and now is like so different. Right, and a lot of things about me were toxic back then, and which I learned now. So everybody's going through that process, you know? So yeah, like accountability is something that everybody needs to understand, needs to practice. Yeah, like that's what makes a good relationship, with the willingness to learn,
the willingness to grow.
Yeah.
So like the last question for today, what is one mantra that men live by when it comes to relationships?
I don't think there's one mantra. Everybody is kind of different in this regard.
Okay, then what is your mantra to relationships?
Yeah, mine is, like I said, growth. We're helping each other grow. I know. If I find that my partner is kind of being dependent on me on something, I'll let her know that, hey, like you are depending on me on this thing a lot. I want you to do this on your own now. And I've told that to people. I've told that to my relationship partners, that okay, like I would legit force her to do something on her own. I know. Like,
later did she thank you?
Of course. You know, like she would complain for a while, but then the trick is to not leave her side even when you're frustrated, right? And it will be frustrating because nobody wants to like do things on their own when somebody else is doing it for you, and it's frustrating. But like, keep doing it. I'm here. It's okay. Just do it. And it takes a couple of tries, maybe 4 or 5 times. But yeah, it's growth. I don't think I can be with a person who refuses to grow up. Who refuses to learn a new thing, who refuses to try a new thing. If you're saying they're like so, like it's my mantra is like we help each other grow.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences on relationships. And I think as a female, मलाई चाहिँ धेरै help भयो, okay? Like after this cozy conversation, because now I understand where men come from. And I think this is one of the very big gaps that happens mostly in heterosexual relationships, where मेनहरूलाई चाहिँ कस्तो भइरहन्छ नि, वुमेनहरूलाई म बुझ्नै सक्दिनँ भनेर, अनि वुमेनहरूलाई चाहिँ कस्तो भइरहन्छ नि, मेनहरू कस्तो है, उनीहरूको फिलिङ्स त एकछिनमा टर्न अन हुन्छ, एकछिनमा टर्न अफ हुन्छ. आई विश मसँग पनि मेल्सहरूसँगै जस्तै भएको भए हुन्थ्यो, चाहिँ फिलिङ्सहरू टर्न अफ भइहाल्ने भनेर. युजली वुमेनहरूलाई चाहिँ त्यस्तो फिल भइरहेको हुन्छ होइन. तर आई थिङ्क दिस कन्भर्सेसन जस्ट हेल्प मी ब्रिज द्याट ग्याप and understand where males come from. And one learning that I had from this conversation is how important it is to just sit and have conversations with your partner, talk to them about their trauma. अनि कुनै कुराले बदर पनि गरिरहेको छ भने बरु त्यसलाई भित्रै राख्नु भन्दा चाहिँ नि, you'd rather bring it out on the table and then discuss it with your partner and then see where things goes. So I think मेरो लागि चाहिँ नि this cozy conversation just
like yes, the way I see it, like yes, men and women find it very difficult to understand each other, but that's only because a lot of the ego comes in between, where they think like this is how relations should be, and they are like, men are like this is how the relation should be, and women are like this is how the relation should be. Like if you just let go of that ego, like no, like there's no a certain way that the relationship should be. Let's understand how they think relationship should be. And I'll tell him how I think relationship should be, and then you merge it together. And it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to understand the other gender at all, I think.
Yeah, like I think what we need to make her try.
Yeah, like all that women want is like a little bit of attention every time. Like
Yeah.
it's not that like
True.
it's not that difficult. Okay, it's just like one text a day works. That's it. That is literally it.
That's actually the trick to women's heart. Like a lot of men think that women want these huge grand gestures, but that's not true. Like all women want, like at least in my case, all I want is that I want to feel valued in my partner's life. Like I want to feel that, oh, he's not taking me for granted.
And on the men's side, all that men want is like you take a clash, okay? Clash check you, that all that men want is not have the pressure to do anything, right? And they want this because okay, with men, like they've lived their life with this pressure of expectation all their lives, right? So like even if it's as simple as texting someone, if there's the pressure of expectation, that's what like the resources mostly, because that's their entire life. The pressure of like you should do this. So like men have to understand that it's just your सानो कुरा गर्दिनु मात्र पर्छ. It's not that difficult. त्यही म गर्दिन्छु, हैन? From women's side,
we have to
understanding
understand
that okay, I'll love it if you do this, हैन? But even if you don't, I'll not be like, why did you? हैन? So त्यहाँनिर एउटा फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी चाहियो, अनि त्यति मात्र भयो भने it'll be great.
So I think women need to be like, women need to understand that men don't necessarily show that you're valued in their lives by doing these grand, like by like showing it to you.
Yeah.
Like they value you, it's just that they don't know how to express that they value you, or they don't want to like express that they value you all the time.
We enjoy the not having to perform wala pressure. That is what we are looking for eventually, and we want it's kind of like a performance. So do things that doesn't feel like performance to you. And you have to find that way. So try different things, and if texting becomes a little bit too much for you, then like meet her and then it's give her a hug. That's not difficult. It's very small thing. What men and women now want are very small things, and just after ego just let go of that ego, things will be great.
And communicate, and have more conversations like we did today. So thank you so much everyone for watching this video. I hope it was fun for you.
It was very fun.
It was really fun for me because it really helped me empathize with men, and I hope now I'll not criticize men as much in my relationships. Hoping to see you in more future videos. If you have any recommendations or any topics that you want me to cover, please write that in the comment section below. Until next time, bye bye.